Bit of an interesting match that we've just witnessed. Interesting because of how South Africa chased it. At one point looked like they would reach in 10 overs with 5 overs to spare in a effectively 15 over game. And then it turned out to be completely different, and at one stage 2 overs to go, 12 needed, though South Africa was still favoured, but India had an outside chance, wasn't to be, and then the way it finished was again quite one-sided. So that's exactly why I'm saying it's an interesting match, quite a lot of ebbs and flow, but now that the dust is kind of settled, and if you look back, you'd still have to say that South Africa won it comfortably. I mean, there could have been some sort of slight hope of India maybe having a chance, but in the end South Africa winning this particular game, which by default becomes the first game of the series. The first one got washed out, so 1-0 lead where they are at the moment. They can't lose this T20I series. At best India can draw. The good news is that we finally got to see a game. After the first game that got washed out, there were reports that this one would too. But we're just happy we saw a game, because after seeing a game there are plenty of talking points, and that's exactly what we'll do in the next 40-45 minutes, till as long as we have things to talk about. Let's start with Ravindra Jadeja bowling that penultimate over.
Just want to see how many overs though. Did we have enough options?
No options.
Exactly what I was wondering. So what?
No options, because you only use 5 bowlers, so no options. What do you make of the decision?
No riding.
Baffling.
Yeah, I mean, while I agree that there was no option, you're playing 5 bowlers, so Jadeja had to bowl his 3, so did everyone else, but penultimate at this...
See, this was more of a situation, let's say, that Babar Azam was faced with in that match, but it was played at the G. You either would have had Nawaz bowl the penultimate or the last. Again, things became very predictable then. Same was the case here, but again, what's the idea and what did Babar do? He did the right thing, let's say, by at least taking the match into the final over. And that's the Mahendra Singh Dhoni school of thought too. That you try and take things as deep as possible. Give yourself that outside chance.
No. Mahendra Singh Dhoni's school of thought is for batting. For bowling, you will seldom see him. I think he did bowl Ashwin once.
That was the 2013, also the 2013 Champions
excuse me,
final as well. Ashwin bowled that last over when Treadwell was batting, I think. It was Ashwin who bowled the last over.
Yeah, but I remember Afridi also smashing Ashwin towards the tear. But then, Ashwin's a different bowler. He could very well manage with this variation. Okay, if you wanted to take him deep, then why not, I don't know, maybe the last over? Why penultimate?
Look, conventional wisdom says you never leave your spinners to the end.
Yeah.
Never. Especially not if they're your finger spinners. I mean, even a wrist spinner, I would never. Because the whole point of wrist spinners or keeping a wrist spinners, they're going to bowl attacking lines, which will either get them hit or get you wickets. There's no in between. So, I don't see the need for bowling a spinner when you knew you have 5 overs. Siraj pulled things back very nicely in the death. Could have actually bowled 1 less over of him up front. Any one of them really. It was just a matter of 1 over, and save your death overs for the pacers.
I kind of agree. If I was captain, I wouldn't keep Jadeja that long. See, I think the best time to have bowled him at that time would have been, it was Klaasen to an extent who was being aggressive. Of course, Markram the captain was, and before that it was Hendricks. Once they lost those wickets and where they were beginning to lose their way is when I would have probably wanted him to bowl Jadeja.
I think Miller. That's what scared them.
I know, a left-hander, but what happened towards the death? Like, Pelukwayo comes, who's also a left-hander. He whacked it. So, could have been slightly different, but I guess that I understand that Miller being there, you didn't want to bowl a lefty because of the lefty. But in the end, it was Pelukwayo as well.
Plus, this is not Miller of, say, 2015, 16, 17, 18. Couldn't play spin at all. This version of Miller murder spinners.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a thought. Again, all of that, we're talking in hindsight. Having said that, I think if he had even bowled Jadeja earlier and just being truthful, I think this game was South Africa. They have it under control from the start, especially the way they started. And Riza Hendricks, I mean, the kind of base that he gave them, 49 of 27 deliveries, 180 strike rate. And come to think of it, this is a man, and he's done very well in whatever chances he gets, whether it's ODI cricket or T20I cricket. I just want to put it out there. This is a man who does not get into the 11 because Temba Bavuma plays. It is a lot of times it could have been Quinton de Kock, Riza Hendricks to open. Most people in South Africa say that. Yet he does not play, sits on the bench because the captain has to be.
He's there, Ishan Kishan, Riza Hendricks. Probably better.
Not as much. Because
Ishan
no, in Ishan's case, see, I was just pointing to the fact that you're being unfair to him. But not for once am I doubting the guys who are playing. For example, big fan of all these youngsters, Tilak Verma and Rinku Singh or Jitesh, whoever plays. But in this case, it's not the same comparison because here there's no, it's chalk and cheese between what Riza Hendricks brings to the table and what Temba. No disrespect to Temba. I think he's a good leader. He's held the team together in tough situations, and I hear from the players as well, have high things to say about him. I remember some gritty knocks in Test cricket, all right. But in white ball cricket, the kind of form that Riza Hendricks has been showing, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he did get a chance or two to play when Temba was injured during the World Cup. Riza comes in and does well, but still has to go out when Temba comes back because he's the captain. I'm just telling you here, Temba is not there, so Riza plays. Tells you the man for the last few years, 2-3 years if I'm not mistaken, has been in the form of his life. He's really striking it well, but can't get into the team, which I think is unfortunate. He should be a starter in white ball cricket for most teams, let alone South Africa. But such is the kind of quota system that they have.
And I think even without the quota system, make Temba Bavuma say a Caucasian player with those kind of numbers, you'd be calling for his head, saying, how is this guy being in the team as the captain? Okay, I understand leadership and batting are two very different skill sets, but at the end of the day, you're in the team as not just a leader but also the role. And Temba, I think, has only been a consistent player in Tests. No other format has he had a consistent run. And even in Tests, I'd say he's best characterized as grittiness rather than anything else. And he'll dig deep.
And if it wasn't for the change in plans that South Africa came up with later, Bavuma would have played this series as well. It was an afterthought that they realized that, okay, let's just rest him, Rabada and a couple of others for the tests. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen this Riza Hendricks long maybe.
Well, at least in their case, now I'll go back to the at least in their case, Riza knows that if Temba is rested, at least I'll get a chance. Unlike Ishan Kishan. Because he's like, these rest, I will get a chance. I won't, they got some youngster. No, we want to try some youngster. Which they did in Bretske. How do you pronounce his name?
Matthew Bretske, I'm guessing.
Bretske.
He's being seen as the heir apparent to Quinton de Kock. So big boots to fill for the 25-year-old.
Next Quinton.
Yeah, next Quinton.
But there's a next AB, next Quinton. They all have next Hashim Amla. Next
Hashim Amla. If we ever get to see one, we'd be very happy. Loved watching Hashim play. My God.
Yeah, good bat.
Very classical. Very easy in the air.
Actually not. I wouldn't, because I don't want another South African to keep breaking an Indian's record for the fastest 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 runs. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, but you're right. It's quite pleasing. Technically so correct.
So easy in the air.
And I met him a couple of times. Such a gentleman, so soft-spoken, I can't tell you. Amazing guy.
Yeah, so Bretske, I think, by the way, his knock is going to fly under the radar because of that ridiculous run out.
This is just over enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes, no, then he's kicking air.
No, but that top three, that I'm just saying now, this fearless cricket, somehow, and which is why I pointed out earlier, I think India were a good 20-25 run shot. Don't get me wrong, I think they had the Duckworth-Lewis target pretty much at par. I don't think it was surprising at all. Pretty much on expected lines. So India wouldn't feel hard done by the total that was given, or South Africa for that matter. Pretty acceptable for both teams, the 150 odd target that they gave. But as I said, there were a few below. See what this South African team is also showing you, apart from that little stutter that they have in the middle and Indians bowl well, is that the way to play in T20 is changing. It's changing, and what a powerhouse of a batting lineup they had. They also continue doing the same thing. You know, Riza and Markram and Bretsky, all of them had given them a good start. But here comes a Klaasen who is not going to hold back. Here comes a Miller who's not going to hold back. So, you know, they're continuing with that trend of how to play T20 cricket. India also did it. And that's, I think, I was happiest about. The only difference I see from both teams in terms of approach, one, of course, India didn't have a good start today. Both openers got out, but I'll take that. That's not going to happen all the time. There'll be occasions where India. But I still feel that the big difference between the two teams is that India, in a similar position, 5 down, wouldn't have had a Peklukayo come in, or even after that Marco Jansen. India, we were just talking about it. See, towards the death, you start running out of option and you send Arshdeep there. Right, there, 7, 8, 9, you know, pretty much sorted in that sense.
I mean, see, they've got Jansen coming in at 8. Jansen, who's good enough to bat 7 for them in ODIs. Also, well,
I saw Jansen in test matches last time India toured. I think he made his debut, if I'm not mistaken. He looks so good in a test match as a batter.
Technically very correct.
So they have that option.
No,
and by the way,
even the recently concluded World Cup, forget Marco Jansen picking up the most wickets in power plays at one point with the bat as well. Those handy couple of 40s I remember very well.
And by the way, their number 9 is Gerald Coetzee, who can also tonk a couple. The other problem which India tend to have is that you don't have bowlers who can bat. And I'm not talking about all-rounders or bowling all-rounders. I mean a bowler who will come and whack a couple. So with Australia, another example, I mean, they have Cummins at 8.
Yeah.
No, Cummins is an all-rounder. I'll consider him a bowling all-rounder for white ball cricket. For that matter, even red ball cricket. He has a phenomenal record. 9, you have Stark. Stark.
India, the only player you can think of is Shami maybe, but that's it.
But Indian, as I said, Indian batting changes as soon as you bring in Hardik Pandya into the team. You'll have to drop one of your fast bowlers. And again, I mean, if you look at the bowling card today, a lot of criticism goes towards the bowler. But truth be told, the kind of ground that you're playing in, the kind of batting conditions they are, bowlers are like lambs to slaughter.
Yeah, you're on a hiding to nothing.
Yeah, you will have to go. And with that in mind, I think Arshdeep was expensive today, as he's been in the last few occasions as well, and kind of Mukesh. But all I'm saying is that in this ground, and I mentioned it even in mid-innings, that you were going to go for a lot of runs, especially with the kind of batting that South Africa has, the kind of conditions, the size of the ground, you were going to go. The only way India could have won the match, as I mentioned, if Kuldeep had an outstanding day, if he had a day like Tabrez Shamsi and probably picked up a couple more wickets than him, they both picked up 1 apiece, but Tabrez with 4.50 economy, Kuldeep close to 9. I think that's the difference. If Kuldeep had a day, that's when you could have made a game out of it, and it would have gone close last ball or second last ball, and either team decides. But that was going to be a game changer, because pretty much your fast bowlers were going to go for runs. You can try your slower balls, variations, yorkers. The thing is, why I'm saying, you'll 2-3 balls will be very good. You'll get the block hole, whatever. The remaining will go for a 4 or a 6. And that's what a batter is doing now. They're like, okay, you bowl 3-4, I'll negotiate. I'm just waiting for those 2 balls that come in my zone. And it's not always possible for you not to hit that zone, because batters are also, improvising, changing where they're standing, and have developed multiple shots. It's now no more just hitting in the V, right? They can hit anywhere. So they're also gambling on that. That out of 6, all I need is 2 big hits, and I'm above the required rate. And so most bowlers will go for. So I don't blame them. I think batting makes a huge difference. And today, South Africa were better off than India.
It's very ironic. This is the same South African team who probably couldn't chase a tortoise in ODI cricket.
No, can I tell you, Shane, interesting that you bring that. They could not chase, which is true, but they could not chase in Indian conditions, and I think that's the important thing.
That's true.
Because you cut straight to the series that happened before that, where South Africa played Australia in South Africa,
and they were chasing,
and South Africa was chasing it very well. See, it's also their batting style of how they bat and which condition. You give them these pitches, these true pitches with a bit of grass on it, and not the kind of grass that is going to really assist fast bowlers, but the kind of grass that holds the pitch together and allows the ball to come onto your bat. You give them these kind of situations, they'll chase it.
Yeah.
It's those Indian conditions where it gets a bit sticky in the second innings, and then stroke making isn't that easy. That's where they started panicking and crumbling under pressure. Also, T20 shorter, so you are never caught in a dilemma of like, what do I do?
Do I go for a big hit? No, I'll go for a big hit.
Yeah. So I think they'll be able to chase more. You'll see that in ODIs too.
Yeah.
Though you'll have to endure 3 ODIs. All the best with that. 3 India South Africa ODIs.
Couple of them starting around 4:30 India time. That's what I'm worried about.
Why?
Just long days.
Yeah. ODI cricket, you just did an ODI World Cup.
That was still interesting.
And also India time suits you, right? But
That's a World Cup, so that's still kind of interesting.
But yeah, it's going to be a...
Why couldn't they have just played another test?
test of endurance.
Yeah, that's a good
match.
They should have. I think they should have had another test match. Third test.
Like this whole series, because of one match being washed out, now again, it could end all square. You won't have a winner, let's say. Test, you know. Test, you very well know. 2 matches, that's...
No, I agree. You could have gotten rid of the ODI series, had another test match.
And there is no ODI, like for none of the teams, ODI cricket has any relevance.
None whatsoever.
You could have made this a 5-match series, gotten rid of those 3 ODIs and increased the test if you wanted just enough cricketing days, let's say.
And see, that's the thing. I mean, if you're looking at it, this is now the only ODI series that India are playing in the aftermath of the World Cup to the next World Cup. There's no other ODI series because there's no relevance. I just didn't understand the scheduling. I'm like, why do you need a 3 ODI series in a T20 World Cup cycle? I just don't get it. Makes
and
no
as
sense.
a result, India now I think are the only second team with the least amount of matches in the build up to the T20 internationals.
For the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
No.
5
Yeah,
including this one.
all the big teams, if I was to take the 4 semi-finalists of this World Cup, so the big teams, the South Africas, the Australias, the Indias, and the New Zealands of the world, they're all playing around 5-6.
You're right. But again, there's a big
The only ones are playing a lot of T20Is before the T20 World Cup are West Indies, about 30, and Pakistan. 2 of them.
I think England also playing a fair bit.
Maybe.
No, but even England, not that many. They're just playing West Indies.
I think, if I'm not wrong, they have around 10, 14 for West Indies and 14 for Pakistan.
But I just counted like the 4 semi-finals, all playing about 5-6, so you can't complain. It's not that you're the only one. Then ideally you would want more, agreed. But there are other
Who are England playing beyond the West Indies? Because see, they have in a month's time, they've got India. After that's the IPL. How much are they really playing? It's just the West Indies, I think. Maybe one
and
more series.
Pakistan. West Indies and Pakistan both 14 each, I remember. I think about 7 for England then.
And then that's not a lot. Especially when you consider that we're talking about T20 World Cup, this and that, but England are focused on the India Test series. They've already announced the squad and everything. That's the main focus for them also.
Yeah.
Baseball versus dust ball.
All the best for the 3 ODIs, which have no relevance. I mean, you could have, if didn't want, I mean, test you should have.
5-match T20I series then. Something.
5-match T20I and a test.
And a test, yeah. You would have taken that.
I understand.
I would have taken that any day.
Yeah.
Most would have.
3 ODIs this time. Wonderful.
That reminds me, I'm watching Markram bat. I mean, boy, is he a sweet timer. We were talking about the best hitters.
Yeah, Markram is right up there when it comes. By the way, we're talking about best batters in T20 cricket. Aiden Markram did lead Sunrisers Eastern Cape to the maiden SA20 in 2023.
He is striking it well. We're talking about Sky and Rinku before that when that question was asked. So the best strikers of the ball, I think Markram too. And you know, it's just the flow of the bat, the sound of the ball hitting the bat for some players looks quite different. It's same for Markram. Those couple of sixes that he hit, man.
They needed to make him the white ball captain yesterday, full time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only man, South African, in recent history who can say he's won an ICC tournament.
Agreed.
Under 19 World Cup.
Yeah. But I think the favourite shot, of all the cricket that we saw today, so many runs being scored, I think that shot that Hendricks played over extra cover, went for a boundary, but again, what a ball, like that length for him to really loft it like that, play it in that seamless manner, loved it.
Did Rashdi put a lot of effort into the ball?
No, but he probably did, but without the noise that he usually makes.
My theory is forever that when he does that, he'll get tongued. So bowl silently.
Yeah. Every time.
Boom. Gone.
He's a good guy.
I really like him, but my God, I think his form at this point is a bit of a concern.
I think the few areas of concern for India, one of course Arshdeep's form. I completely agree, because again there's no point judging someone after one game.
Yeah.
So this has been happening consistently. So I think that's for sure.
Even Ireland, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Even
that's what I said.
Ireland, yeah.
For some time now, Jadeja needs to step up with the bat too. I feel, because you really need him to be coming good at that stage. So I think two areas where you really need India.
I'd say a third as well. Form Shubman Gill. World Cup as well. You were very patient, by the way, with Shubman Gill.
Yeah, but I tell you, see, he missed the first few games, and he was
missed the
coming
first
from.
two.
Yeah, but he's coming from dengue. Yeah,
I agree.
Get that
I'm
kind
just
of
saying. I'm
fitness.
just saying. You go a little back as well. Yes, he had those tremendous 6 months where he got those 700s as well across formats, a double 100 and whatnot. Things were very, very rosy and good for Shubman Gill. Second half of the year hasn't been as per plan, I would say. You need him to be scoring a little more. That World Cup, by the way, just because first World Cup for him, he's your blue-eyed boy, and he has done everything to be able to get that kind of support as well. But it can only be brushed under the carpet to an extent, is what I'm saying.
But have you reached that extent?
No, it's not. I'm not saying it has. I'm just saying, but again, it's half a year that we're talking about now.
His form has fallen off a cliff ever since the World Test Championship final. Since then, not quite been the same batter.
He came back in Asia Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
Asia Cup also he was middling. I'm saying his form has been hit or miss since.
Because
WTC final, he had a poor run.
Then West Indies.
He was batting at 3. He was terrible.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, corner of the eye, when you're talking about areas of concern, I think that you hope that it doesn't become a bigger area of concern. Like today as well, the dismissal, I don't think the ball merited a dismissal, let's say. Today when he got out, I don't think that ball merited a dismissal.
He was a nice ball and nipped in well.
It came in.
Who was that? Was Jansen or was
Williams?
No, Williams.
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 And he didn't even wait for the umpire to give him out. He had decided in his own head. Tough ball. No, there's no excuse.
Crucial year for him now coming up, because don't forget he's going to be captain of the franchise.
Yeah.
Gujarat Titans.
That can go either way.
Oh yeah, really, it can.
Either it really pushes you to a next level because you take that responsibility. You say, I need to perform, like it did in Hardik Pandya's case.
Yeah.
Or it can go downhill because apart from your own form with the bat, you're worried about what happens with the team.
Well,
So,
ask Ravindra Jadeja that.
but Jadeja feels hard done by whatever happened.
I mean, it was
His
so.
form also.
His form nosedived as captain.
Oh well, then when he was not captain, also didn't have an outstanding time.
He had one good
After
match
that.
in 23.
That's what
One
I'm
good
saying.
match.
And he
The
was
final.
not captain.
The final. That's it.
But he was not captain.
He wasn't.
So may not have had anything to do with him being captain. He was hard done by. I think you threw him under the bus.
Oh, Dhoni definitely did in that one post match. The spoon
And it was
feeding.
too early to take a call. I mean, you've given him that responsibility.
You gave him 6 games or 7 games. That's it.
Yeah. I think that was.
Then again, CSK won another IPL thereafter. So what do we know?
And he hit the winning runs.
And he hit the winning runs. Against all odds.
Thala for a reason.
That is true.
But partly helped by the GT captain. If it wasn't for that halt. Then he got Mohit Sharma that drink. The drinks break wasn't needed.
No, plus that whole, the momentum also that they had that. In the middle also, middle of the innings they had that cultural program and all of that. I think it was too long a break. Lots of things that happened. But eventually, you got to give it to the team that won.
Eventually, it's Thala for a reason. To quote the very popular meme doing the rounds nowadays.
Which is?
So people will just randomly put something and try to get the number 7 into anything. And then because Dhoni's number, so they'll just put Thala for a reason. So like for example, say for instance, my birthday is 29 September. But 9-1 is 2-7, Thala for a reason.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
7 continents, Thala for a reason.
It's just a thing.
Rainbow, 7 colors.
Tala for a reason. शादी के टाइम पे साथ पे रहे. Tala for a reason. In fact, I just realized another one.
Northeast Seven Sister.
Thala for a reason. I just realized another one. 2023 was always going to be the year CSK won it. 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 7. Thala for a reason. Just stuff like this. It's a thing. In fact, recently there was the Premier League, English Premier League's account, which runs an India account as well. They got in on the fun. So it was John McGinn of Aston Villa who scored the injury time winner against Man City. It was in the 7th minute, and John McGinn was number 7. So they took that, Thala for a reason.
And it's our dear friend Shivam only who shared this thing to me today. So even he is here, and you know how big a football fan he is. So yeah, he is also enjoying this fun.
Thala for a reason.
I can't, that's why I'm off social media. No, I'm not off, I'm on social media, but that reminds me, I put that tweet on, so I got a lot of galis today, which I was asking you, where I put that tweet about Rinku saying that 55 lakh now seems like a daylight robbery.
It was.
So now the thing is that people do not understand. I've said, so like, how can you say KKR has done robbery, this, that, so got so much gali, then I had to put one thing, I'm saying that daylight robbery is an expression.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to take it literally as in it is.
I do really have to explain the expression?
Yeah.
This is nothing. I remember there was one
written that
player.
down. I'll show you the comments. You'll see the comments.
This is nothing. There was this one player who called Virat Kohli a
Rest
joke.
in peace, journalism, this, that. You're calling robbery, you are saying that.
No, I'm saying one time there was this journalist, or not journalist, a cricketer, I don't know who it was, called Virat Kohli a joke. And in that sense, a joke means I can't believe how good this guy is. He got trolled by Indian fans here. How are you calling him a joke? What is this? You are a
that
joke.
That must be like a joke being said out of awe, right?
Yeah, like, man, this guy is
like
a joke.
this. Like if, Sky hits these shots and like, the Sky is a joke. He's doing outrageous things.
And people got mad.
I'm pretty sure that person would struggle. At least Nikhil could explain. How do you explain that?
No, I had to write the next one below. I said, everyone in the comments, please relax. Daylight robbery is an expression. It does not mean.
It does not mean that KKR robbed anyone. It means that they got a steal. It's a bargain.
That
you got a player that good for 55 lakhs. And by the way, they would have got him at base price if LSG didn't bid a couple of times for him.
By the way, he was at 80 before that.
Yeah.
And then he went into the auction.
Yeah, they got him back for 55. And he was an 80 lakh bench player. He used to play 2-3 games a season. What really changed his fortunes was that, again, ironically, knock against LSG 2022.
Yeah. See, go on top. See, upar. See, there, that put that. This I put later. That I put 55 lakh. Then I had to write something. That, see.
Oh, that's why you were asking about the face palm thing?
I asked you, can I put face palm? But the initial bit I'd written was upar jana. There I'd written that.
I saw your first tweet. You have to put a clarification. I'm going to like the second one now.
It is like, I was reminded of another thing that happened, which is similar. Where people don't sometimes
get the idiom or the expression.
But anyway.
So it makes for a meme. 3 Idiots. Seedha bolo na.
But this is actually very seedha.
इससे सीधा क्या बोलो?
सीधा बोलो ना.
सीधा ही बोला है.
This is actually very seedha. There's no other way to interpret it. Can't believe people took offense to this.
I'll show you all that later. Swal,
please.
Satish B.
This team cannot win you a World Cup. This bowling lineup with a full-strength T20 squad will hammer very badly. But I don't think this is a full-strength bowling lineup. You are seeing a Bumrah come back. Potentially a Shami comeback, Hardik. So in no way is this a full, it's not a full strength.
As I said, earlier also, Satish, that I don't think it's a fair reflection. The kind of runs that have come here is a fair reflection of what the bowlers are. You look at South African bowlers also went for plenty. I just leave aside Tabraiz Shamshi, who is outstanding today, right?
Yeah.
So these pitches, the way T20 cricket is played, get used to. We also have to see the economy very differently now. So that will happen. But having said that, I completely agree with you. I think Arshdeep's form's been a bit of a concern lately. He has been. And so maybe he'll miss the bus. I don't know how you will fit all of them in anyway, because we were suggesting, how about you go with Hardik Pandya as your third, just to increase that batting. Go with 5 bowlers, maybe a couple of part-timers from your batting. But Hardik is your third, and just go with 2 out-and-out fast bowlers. It could be Bumrah and Siraj, hypothetically. So in either case, you may not have anyone. That could be a scenario, or the Indian team goes the other way and gets 3 fast bowlers, in which case you may look at as Siraj, Bumrah, Shami I would consider, but if you're not considering Shami, then one between Mukesh, Arshdeep, that they'd probably look at bringing into the team going forward. But I would still think go with 5, as in let Hardik be that. And remember, this is what I told you at the start. You kept saying, why not have they've taken Tilak and Jaiswal as part-time. I told you they'll never bowl.
They haven't.
They'll never bowl. So that thing of that they have been picked in the team because they're part-time bowlers and all that, just don't.
Not happening.
No, not at all.
So we have a celebrity super chat apparently.
Okay, who is this?
From Tripti Dimri.
The national crush of India. That's what I read somewhere. I haven't seen the movie side.
Neither have I. Don't intend to.
But I've seen another film of hers called Kala, which is on classical music.
Okay.
It's quite like the India's entry to Disciple, is it? I don't know. Anyway, I'll come back. Let's take the question.
It says, imagine this team doesn't have an RVD, I'm assuming that is Rassie van der Dussen, and a Dewald Brevis. They're not there, they've missed out. Cannot believe that they lost to the Netherlands twice. Also a plug for the movie. I mean, why do you need plugs for the movie? They're doing like gangbuster business.
Tripti, everyone is watching a film.
Except us.
You're rocking it. Well, a lot of folks on our team watched it, so...
Yeah.
So, okay, but since we have a super chat by someone called Tripti Dimri.
Who he'd like to assume is the actual Tripti Dimri.
What?
So who would like to assume is the actual Tripti Dimri?
Obviously not, but is maybe a fan of Tripti Dimri, I don't know, whatever. Or coincidentally has the same name, or whatever, could be various reasons. Anyway, having said that, as suggested, go and watch Animal. So if you're into it, please do check out Animal. But the other question was not having those big guys,
Brevis, I would counting him as a big guy.
Brevis, no.
Exactly.
No.
But Rassie van der Dussen.
Rassie, yes, I agree.
Freak.
Nobody took Temba's name?
No. Maybe Temba's mum.
By the way, this side doesn't have a
Very bad.
Riley Russo either.
There's no Riley Russo.
There is no Riley Russo right now.
Actually.
Terrible guy.
I mean, she would.
Okay, what's Lakshya saying?
India's obsession with a 6 bowling option in the form of a compromised batter who will never be utilized in a crucial game will cost us. But today, not having a 6 bowling option costs you, yeah?
No, it won't have. But see, that's what he's saying. I don't know.
I got his point. But I think you need to have a 6th bowling option.
I'm saying, why? Why would you need, as you used 5 today? Again, you should have gotten Jadeja finish earlier. I'll tell you how. Okay, let's take this match as an example. I'm keeping one fast bowler out. Okay? Whatever, Mukesh, let's say, hypothetically, out. I'm playing Hardik instead. Hardik is going to give me 4 overs. Hardik's bowling as well as any fast bowler. He does that job for me. He can bowl at any part of the game as well. I can use him at the death also if I want, or in the middle, wherever. Now, look at my batting. What happened? The way you were cruising, you lost those 2 early wickets. And the way you were cruising, I remember having that chat that 200 to kahin nahi gaya. That was our assessment. But did you reach 200? You did not. You wouldn't have, even though you were 3 balls short, you wouldn't have, because look at the batting that you had.
Yeah.
You would reach the situation where Arshdeep had to come in. Now imagine put a Hardik into that. And even though a Jitesh hasn't had a good day or a Jadeja hasn't, a Hardik does, right? So that's the difference of 20 runs that you need. You could have still gotten that on a day that if Jitesh came good or somebody else. But in a T20 game, you allow high risk, high reward. So you're assuming that half your batting will fail, half will succeed. But give yourself that much chance. So Hardik plays, I'm assuming then law of averages tells you he gets those runs. I'm getting to 200 with the same bowling lineup between a Mukesh and a Hardik. I'm not much to choose from. I think they'll do pretty much the same. You have a chance of winning the game. So I'm going with 5.
See, you can go in your, again, my theory being go in with 5 if they are your best 5. If you're playing the best 5 like you were in the World Cup,
best 5 will not give you that batting, nah. Your best 5, you ask me.
No, but in your best 5, then you're accommodating Hardik, nah. Then, not right now.
No, because best 5 bowler he may not fit in. How does he fit in? Your 2 best spinners will be 2 and 3 fast bowlers, nah.
Yes.
So then that will be Siraj, Bumrah, maybe Shami, right?
Yeah. He does
as a bowler.
Top 5.
How would, and some might even argue that Mukesh could be slightly better than Hardik as a bowler. Again, just as a bowler. But you're saying if I take the 5 best bowler and doesn't give me that batting option, then Hardik comes in for a batter.
Saying, no, you keep Shami, you keep Bumrah, you have Hardik as the third seamer,
so that
and the 2 spinners. That's it.
But that's exactly then 5 bowlers, na?
Yeah, so only if you can strike that particular combination, which as of now is perceived to be the best.
No, but you said they need a 6th bowler. You said
if you can have the luxury, why not?
How right? You can have the luxury, but you will be a batter shot just like today. That's what I'm trying to say. If Hardik comes back, let's say you include Hardik in place of whatever. I mean, hypothetically, Rinku. Again, I'm not getting to who he should. But let's say Rinku, he comes in. What happens? You get the 6th bowling option, but your batting is the same, na? So the only way that solution can be found is if you keep exactly the team that there is, take a fast bowler out. I gave you an example, maybe a Mukesh goes out and a Hardik comes in. Then you only have 5 bowlers. You do not have the 6th bowling option. Then you have that kind of batting. Because if you want to have the approach of this new age T20, bang, 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 that I don't care what's happening, but I'm going, which South Africa is showing you, which this young Indian team is also trying to play. Then you also need batting, na?
You need batting till 8 then.
Yeah, you need that.
Then otherwise you only have one option. Call Lord Shardul again. You're done.
No, but then
that's
he's not the same.
That's a joke. He's not the same in T20Is. Truth be told, even in ODIs can be hit or miss. Yeah. But otherwise, that's really the only option you have. Find another all-rounder from somewhere. That's it. That's the only option you have.
No, as I said, I take Hardik as a bowl. I mean,
as a 5th bowler.
5th bowler and of course a very good batter. Then
that's your best case option. Yeah. Best case option. Because you can't fit in even another spinning all-rounder. Kuldeep has to be playing.
I would. Yeah. And Jadeja plays because he's an all-rounder.
Exactly.
Unless you are not happy with Jadeja's form, you look at somebody else. But right now, that's why I said there's daylight between Jadeja and everyone else who's chasing him. Your 2 other options are Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel.
Yeah.
And you need another, as I said, batting you need. So you need a spinner who can bat. Exactly. So that's your only option. Ashish Dhar.
Believe Sky seems reluctant to look beyond 5 regular bowlers. Not playing Bishnoi was a major mistake. Arshdeep has lost confidence. See, I don't know. I think you don't have the choice but to play 5 bowlers at this point because you don't have an all-round option beyond Jadeja. That's it.
Talking about Bishnoi, in hindsight, you can say that, but what would you do? How do you? The only person he can replace in the team is Kuldeep.
Exactly, and Kuldeep is the undisputed first choice.
Yeah.
So he's so Bishnoi is the Riza to Kuldeep's Temba.
As I said, Bishnoi will be there, but you only bring him when your
first choice isn't there.
Exactly.
He's not there, or you're done with him, or you think that he's.
Or you want to move beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, see, the reason Bishnoi is there because you wanted to move past your backup in UZ.
And he's saying that Arshdeep has lost his confidence. I completely agree, but I hope you're not suggesting that Bishnoi comes and replaces him. You can't play 3 spinners, right? So you have to play a fast bowler. But I agree with that. I think we've discussed Arshdeep and the curious case of him losing that. The only thing I'd say is like it's also a difficult job bowling in T20 cricket at the moment.
And I think his confidence has also been impacted by the fact that he's had to play chalk and cheese roles for his franchise and now here being asked to play a totally different role. So it does take time to adjust. I don't think he's a new ball bowler per se. I don't think he ever has been. Yes, he gets that swing.
He does, yeah.
But that's the extent of it. He'll either get you swing or they'll swing and hit. There's no in between. Like someone like a Jansen still offers you control. Those guys who will get you swing early in T20I offer you a degree of control that Arshdeep doesn't have.
I'm saying Arshdeep just a while ago could do everything, right? He could pick you wickets early, he could bowl in the middle, and he was amazing at the death. I think that's the role that they were grooming him for. Suddenly he lost his mojo. That's a case that needs to be studied.
But there are quite a few players in the Indian team who do the test tend to happen. I don't know whether it's down to long ropes not being given, although in Arshdeep's case he's gotten a very long rope. So I don't know what is the issue. I've seen this, no disrespect, but even at Manchester United, where sometimes totally competent players will come and look rubbish overnight.
You're blaming the club for that?
No, it does happen. He himself will vouch for it.
To countless players, it's happened.
How does it?
Then there's something wrong with the club.
Exactly.
Right now, there's plenty wrong with the club.
Tonight's a game.
Will you get home in time?
I'll tune into the comms.
Yeah, you will. Okay, let's take Fit Monk saying, Nikhil, I think the same playing 11 of ODI World Cup final will play in T20 World Cup also. That's Indian cricket for you. Fit Monk, as much as I want to disagree with you, I can't argue. It is quite possible, but I just hope. Okay, let me hedge a bet. I don't think it will be the case. I'll tell you why. There's a good chance KL will not be there. It is that much I can guarantee. And there could be many changes, or there could be very few. But I can be certain about a few. I doubt KL will come back into that 11. That's one.
Even maybe Kohli is doubtful, if you ask me.
No, I'm saying those doubts you could have with Rohit or whatever. I'm saying those are lesser chances of that happening.
Yeah,
I've had to be like certain about something because it says the same 11. I'm 100% certain that KL, if not 100, at least I'm 80-90% certain that KL doesn't make that 11. There is a good chance Shami might not make that 11. I would want him, but I'm just telling you the kind of thinking. And they may go with like Siraj and Bumrah and maybe a youngster between an Arshdeep, Mukesh or whoever they pick, one more guy. I think that is a possibility that might happen. So there could be 2 changes at least. I'd like to see more. I've been very honest with what I would want personally. I think all of us have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't argue with what you're saying because we've seen it World Cup after World Cup. No lessons.
Exactly. We'll always discuss afterwards what are the lessons learned.
Kya khoya, kya paya.
And more often than not, it ends up being nothing.
Yeah.
Dukh paya.
Chalo, okay, we'll call it a night because Harshit wants to watch the Man United game versus Bayern Munich. Do send him all your love and sympathies also because he'll need it. There's another hammering.
But that's hope against hope.
Good old style hammering coming your way.
Actually.
Can you argue against?
Little to argue.
बोलती बंद है इसकी मैच से पहले ही.
No, that is the situation.
I've seen 4 passes not being stitched together very recently. So yeah.
Chalo.
I actually blame Chelsea for that, for giving us that little confidence. I don't know how we beat them so convincingly.
Because they're a young team who are going to be inconsistent. I expect that.
So yeah.
You got a little bit hope there, and then Bournemouth.
And Newcastle also.
And Newcastle to usse pehle tha na.
So either end, no. So you have Newcastle, then Chelsea happens.
And then Bournemouth happens, and you're back to reality.
And now Bayern.
Bye.
Chalo.
Bye.
Yeah, by the way, the first leg was a high scoring match, so let's see.
Which Bayern won?
Bye. See you. Good night. Shabba Khair. Shubh Ratri. Nandri. Vanakkam. Anything else? Sat Sri Akal. Do whatever you want to do.
Now.
Don't trouble your mother.
Eat your vegetables.
Bye.